What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I am here with my man from 10 Pin Life, Ben Glascock, and we are going to break down the 2022 PBA 2022 PBA playoffs that are going to be starting this weekend. Ben, my man, thanks for joining me today to be a part of this and to make your picks.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. What a weekend for sports. It's opening day today. You got the Masters starting today and the PBA playoffs. I'm sure there's basketball going on, which I know nothing about, and hockey too. But yeah, dude, I'm excited. I know that I will definitely be watching every single one of these matches. And when I saw that you guys were doing the pick 'em stuff with the bracket style, I was like, well, clearly we got to do something here. So I'm excited to go through it with you.
Yeah, and for anybody that doesn't know that's out there watching, Ben's got easily the fastest growing YouTube channel, probably in the universe right now, especially in the bowling world. Ben, you've come on the scene hot here recently in the last probably 3, 4, 5 months or so. Tell everybody a little bit about what you've been up to before we get into this kind of bracket challenge and tell people what we got going on.
Yeah, for sure. 10 Pin Life, like you said, is a YouTube channel I started back in September-ish. Basically just wanted to talk about bowling. The idea is there's a lot of different stories, a lot of different things to talk about in the sport of bowling. Really circling around what it is like to live that life within our sport. So talking to a lot of professionals, I did a lot of stuff within the PBA over this last season. So hopefully I have a little bit of insight into this bracket. We'll see if my gut actually turns into anything worthwhile information. But then also talking to like proprietors and, pro shop guys and just different people in the industry, folks like yourself who just what they do is in the world of bowling in some way, shape, or form, and kind of what that takes and what it really means to propel our sport forward. So that was the passion behind it, and now we've got in about a month from today, nationals will be doing stuff out there. So, and then got some cool stuff coming up after that, which is currently under wraps. But if you are not a subscriber, you're going to want to subscribe to 10 Pin Life on YouTube, because what comes that first weekend in May is going to be pretty cool. And I think everybody's going to like it.
Yeah,
I can go on if you need me to.
No. Super excited for what you've got going on, man. And I really appreciate you joining me here today to do this. So we're going to go ahead, put this up on the screen, kind of quickly explain to everybody what we've got going on. If you guys aren't aware of already, we have a fun website with tons of contests on them. It's called PBAPick'em.com. And basically for all of the big PBA events throughout the year, we've been running these pick'em contests. The normal contests we've been doing, you have a chance to win up to $10,000 if you get all of the questions correct. And even if you don't get the questions correct, we're giving out other cool, awesome bowling prizes like some of the ones that you see here behind me on the wall. And for the PBA playoffs this year, we're doing a bracket challenge. So similar to a March Madness bracket where you're going to have the matchups, you pick who you think is going to win, you advance people all the way through to the finals, and you pick an eventual winner. We've done that here for the 2022 PBA Tour playoffs. We've got a lot of great action that's going to come up here starting this weekend, carrying us all the way through the middle of May. So we got a lot of people that are playing. The jackpot prize for this event this week is 5 free bowling balls to anybody that gets a perfect bracket. So if you get a perfect bracket, you get 5 free bowling balls. And even if you don't get all of the matches predicted correctly, we're going to be giving away backpacks, free games to Bolero, and more. So make sure you guys go ahead, PBAPick'em.com, fill out your bracket. Now, Ben is going to go through the gauntlet today. He's going to predict what he thinks is going to happen at this year's playoffs. He's going to fill out his bracket, and then you guys can see not only some insight from Ben, but you can get a little bit, maybe some information from Ben to use to make your own picks. So we'll see how it goes here. Ben, my man, are you ready to go through and make your selections and tell us what you think about this year's bracket?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So let's go ahead here and scroll down. As you guys can see here, let's zoom in so we can make it easier to see. First matchup here, we're going to go from the top left-hand side of the bracket all the way to the bottom right-hand side of the bracket. Actually, what we'll do here is we'll go through the entire left side of the bracket, and then we'll go through the entire right side of the bracket, and then we'll see the championship match here. So in this 1 versus 16 match, the best buddies, Jason Belmonte and Bill O'Neill, who do you think is going to come away victorious in this first match?
Yeah, I mean, talk about like just coming out of the gate strong. Everybody knows like Jason and Bill, doubles partners. They, Bill is Jason's driver, as he sometimes puts it on tour, and they were roommates for a while. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that one. Bill obviously made the finals a few years ago, back when it was at up in Portland. But honestly, Jason, since he came back stateside, he's thrown it. I would argue he's thrown it the best of everybody. It's really, really hard not to pick Jason Belmonte in this matchup. And it's hard to not pick him in almost any matchup, which we'll kind of get to here. But for right now, it's got to be Belmo.
All right. So we're going with Belmo taking home the W in the first round. Moving on to the next match below it, we've got Sean Rash and Kyle Troupe. Should also be another great matchup there. I'm scrolling all over the place here. I'm just so excited. Who do you think is going to come home with the W in this Rash Troupe match?
Yeah, easily this matchup was the hardest for me to pick, because Troupe hasn't been the Troupe that he was last year. He's still Kyle Troupe. He's still great. But he hasn't quite scored the way that he did last year. And Sean, having injured himself at the World Series of Bowling, it's like, how strong is he going to be coming back? And it looks like he didn't have really any issues at the Masters. And he's struck a ton. But I just kind of went with my gut. I think that the head-to-head matchup style, I think, suits Kyle a little bit better, just this little much, even though Troupe's won the Masters, that's the heads up style. But I ended up going with Kyle on this one. I just think that he's going to get like one more hit than Sean. But honestly, that's the one with this race to 2 format. It could come down to like their 5th roll-off ball. I could totally see that in this matchup.
Yeah, I could see that too. 2 really gritty players, obviously 2 great players. Everybody in this bracket's great. Yeah. Let's move on here to the next matchup, the 4 seed versus the 13 seed, Dom Barrett versus Packy Hanrahan. I think we've got a little potential here for a little bit of a dark horse run, personally, from Packy Hanrahan. But, I mean, you can't sleep on Dom Barrett. You can't sleep on anybody in this bracket. What is your thoughts?
So this one, yeah, I'm kind of on the same wavelength that you are. It's one of the big things that went into my considerations for this whole bracket was where they're bowling. So the ITRC not being HPL lane surface, it's Brunswick lane surface. Every time that they've bowled on non-HPL surfaces, it seems like the lefties have a little bit of a better chance. And also those that tend to like urethane on the left side really seem to like it. It just seems it seems to have matched up better for them. So even though Dom won the TOC, Dom Barrett's a Triple Crown winner. Dom Barrett is a perennial just winner. I think Packy's riding a hot hand. He made 2 shows at the World Series. He's left-handed. I just think his shape is overall going to be that little bit better, and I think Packy's going to bring home the win on this one.
All right, so Packy it is. And now for the last match here on the left side of this bracket, Chris Prather and Brad Miller. I feel like a lot of people are going to go with Chris in this matchup here just because Chris has been on fire for a couple of years now. But Brad Miller has had an incredible season thus far, obviously getting into the PBA playoffs, number 12 in points, just coming off of a show at the Masters. He's got to be feeling good about his game and his shot making. So I think we could really see a great match here and a potential for a 12-5 upset here.
I would agree. A part of this matchup that I really wish that I knew, actually, there was 2 things. One is what they're actually bowling on from an oil patterns perspective, but 2, and this was talked about quite a bit during the Players Championship, was what kind of machine they're using, because Brad seems to match up a little bit better when they use kegel machines. And then Chris, because of the nature of the Brunswick machines, is really just having to just ram on it so it doesn't just fly through the front. Chris has been, I would argue, of the guys that use their thumb, 1 and 1A with EJ on just being able to just hit the hell out of it when there's a flood of oil. Because that's what got him to the top of the ladder at the TOC. So I think that's a big thing that's going to make a big difference here. But because of the fact that the ITRC, to my knowledge, and I've never bowled there, but it's a little bit of a slicker lane surface, I think that plays a little bit more into Chris's hand. He's just better, higher rev rate. I don't know if that because Brad has become one of the best at knuckling it up the boards. He's that match between him, or the matchup I wanted at the Masters was him and Norm Duke. No, that was the one, because Brad.
Well, even as he got deeper through the television show, he did exactly what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Which was move back to the right when the lane
Yep.
started getting squirrely, take his hand out of it, and keep it nice and straight.
But in this 2-game matchup, I don't think that that's going to be in play as much. I think it's going to be more of a carry fest, and I think Chris is better at it. So I'm taking Prather on this one.
All right, so here we go. The left side matchups for the second round here for the round of 8. We've got Belmo versus Troupe for you, and Packy versus Prather. Who you taking in this 1 versus 9 seed matchup, Belmo versus Troupe?
Yeah, for sure. Talk about the race left with Jason and Kyle. It'll be another one of those interesting ones. I think with the matchup like this, defense is actually in play, depending on what Jason wants to do. It's something that doesn't get talked about a lot on tour or just in general, but like the amount of transition that he can create is so tremendous. And Kyle's in that same boat if he really wants to, but traditionally from what I've seen, he doesn't really do that. But again, it's a race to 2. It's all you got to do is beat this guy 2 games or 1 and in a roll off. And it kind of comes down to the fact that this one seems like the reason I'm picking Belmo is because the last time that he bowled with a chip on his shoulder was a very long time ago, but he was really, 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 really hard to beat when he did. But now with all the stuff with bowling balls and all that, and they're bowling in kind of a USBC facility, he's going to have those eagle eyes on, laser focused, and I think that Belmo is going to bring home the win against Troupe.
Yeah, and I mean, even though Belmo didn't make the show at the Masters, he made a pretty dang good run at it.
Well, he lost his first match, and he almost made the ladder out of the pit of despair.
Right. I mean, and you got to win 7-8 matches to make the step ladder once you get into that winner's bracket in the first, or you get out of that winner's bracket in the first round. So don't, even though you didn't see Belmo last week, don't get it twisted that, Belmo didn't have a good performance, because he sure did. Let's move on here to this next match, Packy Hanrahan versus Chris Prather. This has got some potential for fireworks, man. I like these two guys going at it head-to-head here. Who do you think would come out victorious should we see this match?
Yeah, man. Wichita alum on both sides. I think that I'm right on the same page with you there. It's going to be hopefully pretty electric. I think that they're going to draw bigger crowds just by nature of Chris being that $100,000 man and Packy with the house channel really just going ham on that. Also, their crowds travel well. I learned that in Milwaukee, that they both had a lot of guys coming in from a lot of different places. So even though it's down in Texas, I think that they're going to be able to pull a crowd. Super tough. Like we kind of said, Packy is riding a hot hand, but kind of alluded to it. Chris is the $100,000 man. It seems like when we're in these types of settings, he's just got that extra gear, when he really settles into his shot and he knows where he's got to be, and he just waggles his butt around that little bit, and he's just really settled in. It's just what it is. And also being able to throw basically any ball that he wants. It's kind of a similar thing to Belmo, where it's just that chip on the shoulder type thing. So I'm taking Chris in this one.
All right, Chris Prather. Now here in the finals, round of 4 on this left side of the bracket, we've got Belmo versus Prather. I mean, every match that's going to happen during the playoffs is going to be an amazing match, but it just seems like all the times you look at a possible matchup and you're like, wow, that would be an awesome match. And Chris is not the only one, but certainly a guy that can play in Belmo's arena when you talk about getting left and slowing it down and really hooking the ball and really making it shape. Chris Prather, I mean, like you said, right? He's got that game to where when he can do that slow wheel, he's really hard to beat. And Belmo, obviously, when he can do that same thing, very hard to beat. So potential here, if this match does come to fruition and actually happens, I think what we would see happen is exactly what you said earlier, kind of who can get left quicker and slow it down and shape the lane the right way and get all the pins to fall down.
So my memory is great. It's just really short. but I don't actually think that Chris and Jason have ever bowled each other on TV.
I was going to ask that because I don't remember if they have or not.
I'm pretty sure that they haven't. I'm gonna have to look it up, but so here's my prediction for this match is, it'll be if that big slow wheel is in play, I think Chris wins it. But if it turns into that left fest, Jason did this a few times in different events, and specifically when he won at Shark, he did this a few times. And actually, Chris did it during Cheetah too, but it was with urethane. It was a different story. But they would make this massive move right, ball way down, and then just fire it, just throw it 100 miles an hour. So Jason did it for the Shark when he won. He also did it in Colorado when he balled down to a Wolverine and then just started throwing absolute missiles like in the track area.
Right.
And I think because of the fact that they're going to create like just getting through this flood in the middle, they're going to create some sort of gross level of carry down. If that's in play, I think Jason wins because he can throw it faster. He can get it through the fronts, just because of his speed. Is that the Tom Clark chiming in the comment section?
I think so. I think Tom is in here. There he is.
Coming in with all I saw was the dog, but
big information here, right? The pattern is Carter 39 feet. The lane machine will be a Brunswick lane machine. Venue, yeah, it's in the Kegel Training Center. I totally forgot that, right? It's down in Kegel.
It's Kegel. It's Kegel. Sorry, I was thinking ITRC. My bad.
Yeah,
similar zones.
Similar space, but definitely some different characteristics there.
Yes, for sure.
And we did see, some events last summer during COVID that were down there in Kegel as well. So should make for a really great atmosphere. So with that information in mind here, who you got going to the finals from the left side of this bracket?
All right, so. I gotta think about this one just for a second.
And take into this account, right? Also, right, the venue changes for the Final Four and the championship, which throws another extra variable in there, which makes things even more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And with it jumping to a Bolero Center for this match, that's the thing that tips it over for me because I was gonna go Jason because that Don Carter pattern is a little bit heavier volume, but I think it's gonna be Chris. I think Chris matches up that little bit better with the higher friction lane surfaces.
The $100,000 man going to the finals. All right, so let's go over here and let's start on the right side of this bracket. So we have got in the first match up top here, two-handers going at it, Anthony Simonson and Sean Maldonado. What's your take in this match?
Hottest bowler in the world right now is Anthony Simonson. Plain and simple.
Don't even got to ask the question, honestly. Right? I mean, show them all. The thing is maybe in March Madness type of bracket, a 1 and a 16 seed, the difference is really significant. You're getting a team that's maybe getting out of their conference finals and a team that dominates the nation every year. Yeah. In this bracket, the difference and the margin between the skill levels and the players between a 1 seed and a 16 seed, I mean, it's non-existent, right? Yeah. They're all just as good as each other. And anybody, like you said, can win this match in this 2-game format with a potential roll-off. Anything can happen. You just got to make really, honestly, 10 good shots and give yourself a chance. And so while Simo certainly is the hottest bowler on the planet right now, Maldi's made a number of shows this year. He's come out and he's had a great showings. He made the Masters show. So he's bowling great too. So you really never know what can happen in these matches.
Yeah, for sure. And Maldi made the TOC show as well. And he's just been one of those guys that he's just been around the top 10, like every event somehow. Like, and he's a low key kind of guy. He's really quiet. He's just chewing gum and throwing bowling balls. Right. And I think that he will definitely put up a big fight, but the fact that Simo packed 10 when nobody in that building at the Gold Coast wanted him to strike, and he still did it. And it's not to say that they were taking away from Anthony. Anthony's a great guy. Everybody wanted Norm Duke to win the Masters, and he was one miss away from Simo, and he absolutely roped that shot. He clutched up so hard that it's just that ability to use that fire in a positive way Simo's just so good at it, and I think he's just going to be really hard to beat. So that's my pick.
I agree. Moving on to this next match, the 7 versus 10 seed, Jacob Buttruff, AJ Johnson. Two Team USA teammates, guys that I'm sure have faced off against each other a number of times on tour throughout their young careers. Got Jacob, who's looking really to get back into the winner's circle. And you look at AJ, who's knocking on the door, trying to get in for the first time here in the States. I think that this has got potential here to be a really energetic match, a really, really intense match as well.
Two of the most vocal guys on tour as well when they bowl, and not in a way that's like, combative at each other. They're just really, like you said, they're energetic. They got a lot of fire. They both really want to win. I would say that this one is one of the most sure bets to come down to a roll off in the race to 2. So the reason that I picked the guy that I picked was he recently posted on Instagram that his season was not headed in a positive direction, and at the TOC he kind of turned it around, and he was the only lefty to even come close to striking at the TOC, and then just kept going up, and he's just on a positive on a rise. And excuse me, AJ made the show for 3 majors this year. It's so hard not to pick him to win because he's struck so much, and I think that if he gets through this match, and if somehow he makes the Final Four and gets into that Bolero Center in Jupiter, he's going to be really, really hard to beat if he gets there. However, I think Buttruff is going to be the one that brings home the win in the first round here.
All right. I like it. Next match here, we've got the Iceman, Jasper Svensson, the number 14 seed against EJ Tackett. What do you think?
I tell you what, if there were ever the equivalent of Jasper Svensson in March Madness at a 14 seed, I would be picking that team to go all the way to the house, because like how a guy that is that good is a 14th seed. And it's obviously it's based on points and it's not based on the subjective picking of some committee or whatever. It's like the idea of having that in a bracket is so crazy. And I feel bad for EJ. Like you bowl this well, and now you get this guy who Jasper bowled extremely well on non-AMF lane services as well this year. The other thing too is I think a part of it, even though Jasper won this year in Michigan or Indiana, I don't remember exactly which one it was. I think there were a few events that really just kind of irked him, where he really felt like he should have done better. When I was there for the Cheetah Championship during match play, you could just tell he felt like he should have struck a lot more. And as much as EJ is an absolute stud, when it's a race to 2, Jasper's pure striking ability from that side, I think is going to be the thing that tips it over. And I'm taking Jasper on this one.
All right. I love it. Love the analysis there. Last first round match here. The number 6 seed Tommy Jones versus the number 11 seed Kyle Sherman. Who are you taking?
So this one, I really, really like this. And I a part of me wishes it would be EJ versus Tommy, because it's like dad versus son, right? They always make that joke. But no, with Tommy and Kyle, pretty similar games at this point. I think Kyle models a lot of his game off of what Tommy did, especially, in the mid 2000s. Tommy's a Hall of Famer. Tommy's an absolute legend. But I can't not pick both Brad and Kyle, because they are going to have so much energy behind them. And when I was there for the Cheetah show, when Kyle won, even though, in bowling, crowds aren't huge compared to, one of the big 4 sports in America, but that building was so unbelievably loud for Kyle. They were so much behind him, and he used it extremely well. It's not like he got all this extra energy from outside and he was just firing them. It was, no, he used it to execute. And I think that he'll have a similar setting in Florida. And I think Kyle Sherman brings home the win on this one. All
right. I dig it. Okay. Moving on here to the round of 8 here on the right side of the bracket. First match up top here, we've got Anthony Simonson versus Jacob Buttruff. What are your thoughts about this potential matchup?
Yeah, dude. This one's so tough because pure striking power, very high. Ability to ability to win. You know, they're both Masters champions. They have both. Jacob has the longest running streak of 200 games at the Open. I don't know if that's still going, but it's unbelievable how good he is. It's so hard to pick a guy between these two. But here's the thing that I think is going to happen, and I know it gets talked about a lot, and it's not meant to take away from him, but Anthony don't miss single pins. Butters has shown a propensity to miss a single pin here and there. I think it comes down to a 7-pin gets whiffed, left or right, either way. And I think that is just enough of an edge to either push it to 2, or push it into a roll-off, or give Simo one of the 2 wins that he needs. And I think it's Simonson. But it could be literally like 268 or 266 because, Butters goes 9 out and Simo shoots 279 because he makes his spare. Like, I would love to see some ridiculously high scores. And Steven, I can see in the comment section, everything in the Masters, it was in play because holy cow, that was hard.
Yeah,
as much as yes, he did miss 2. I think that transition wise, because less traffic, but also just these guys are going to be playing similar parts of the lane. I think it'll be a little bit more predictable, leading to higher scores. And when your ball does the same, the right things through the middle part of the lane, it's going to be a little bit easier to make your spares too, just more predictable.
Yeah, Steven coming in. I would have shot 85 on that shot. That you're not the only one, my man. You're not the only one.
Dude, as soon as I can get that thing thrown out at my home center here, I'm making another video of me bowling on that pattern so y'all can see how hard it really is.
Yeah, it really it looked so tough. Moving on here, a little bit of an interesting match here. Number 14 seed versus number 11 seed, Kyle Sherman. And Jasper as a 14 seed. Who are you taking in this matchup?
Dude, this is like, if I were to make a Marvel Universe equivalency here, this is like Captain America versus the Red Skull, right? Like, not that Jasper's the villain, but it's just so much. I think that if it were like the WWE, it would be the hero and the heel if we were going for mega storylines here. But we're not. We're going for higher scores. And I just, by nature of the fact of what the lane surface that they're bowling on is, I gotta pick Jasper. I just think that left side for him, when he's been able to get his ball through the front part of the lane, because everybody knows how much he likes to see that urethane just sick roll in the mids. The thing that keeps it away is when it hooks early and then it kind of just wiggles down lane. But if he doesn't have that, he just smashes pins. He just I think his strike ball is the loudest on tour out of everybody.
His ball hits those pins so hard.
It's unbelievable. Actually, Tom, if you're still in the comments section or still watching, I'm really curious. Do y'all change the pins and put firecrackers in them or something? Because it's just so loud. But Jasper is just pure strike ability. I think he just edges out Kyle just a little bit.
All right, so here on the right side of the bracket in your final 2, we've got Simo versus Jasper. What would happen if this match actually took place?
Dude, if this goes on, I think it would be absolutely nuts. Because again, 2 guys that can be a little bit more vocal. This is also where they flip to the Bolero Center in Jupiter. So even though I believe the format is only different for the finals, where it's the race to 5, but either way, different structure, different lane panels, that sort of stuff. Honestly, there's so much that could happen here. It's so hard to say exactly, who I think is going to win, because both should win. It sounds ridiculous, but it's like, how do you pick a winner out of 2 guys that are this darn good? But it kind of goes back to when I was talking about it in the first round when he with his matchup with EJ. I think that Jasper's got a little bit of fire that he has to get out before this season is through. He's just, and I know that the PBA league's coming up in July, and there's another thing in June. I don't remember exactly what it is, but
the PBA Tour Finals.
Thank you. But I just think that even this is kind of like that end cap to what is the PBA Tour, and I think Jasper's the guy that's just he's gonna see it as kind of the end of a sentence for him, and he doesn't want it to end negatively. And to him, negative would mean not winning the whole dang thing. So I think that that's going to be enough juice to get him over the hump and win against Simo.
Interesting, man. So we'll zoom out here a little bit, try to make it easier to see. Ben's final four here, Belmo and Prather, with Prather taking the win, and then Jasper versus Simo, Jasper taking the win there. We've got the championship finals here, a title match of Chris Prather versus Jasper Svensson. Who do you got winning it all?
Yeah, dude. So this is when the format changes. So it's not race to 2, it's best of 5. So it's first to 3. Or no. Is it first to 5? I because there's a roll-off situation in here. We got to get the format right because I want to make sure that I pick this the right way because format matters depending. Yeah, adding fireworks to the pins is a good idea. I think so. I'm in. I don't know how it would work, but somebody's got to have the technology for that.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's going to be able to figure out it, it's probably Tom. So, Tom, get on it, my man. Figure out whether or not we can add some visual / sound effects to the pins to make it a little bit more exciting.
So, PBA Playoff Finals is a best of 5 game match. If game 5 is tied, it's a 1-ball roll-off. So I'm assuming that if any game is tied, it's a 1-ball roll-off. Tom, if you're still hanging out, you can clarify that. So it's like game 2 ties, who gets the point there. But either way, best of 5, so first to 3. First off, all I want is this to go 5 matches or 5 games of a match. Let's just put our dukes up. Let's go. If tied at 2 games apiece. 9th and 10th frame roll off. Yes, thank you. So so hard to pick though, because Riviera, Bolero Center, HPLs. Jasper didn't do great there. Wauwatosa, Bolero Center, HPLs. Jasper didn't do great there. Chris did pretty darn good winning 2 majors in both of those buildings, right? I think statistically, the odds are in Chris's favor in this matchup. No matter what oil pattern they're bowling on, it could be 32, could be 52. It's 39 feet, 30 mils ish, that zone. However, the reason that we bowl is because it ain't just about who should win. It's about who does win. And even though everything is pointing in the direction of Chris Prather winning this, having won this event before, being the $100,000 man, I think that you're going to see that afro giving Jasper a big old hug on the approach after he wins game number 5 in this matchup.
Wow. Well, I love it. Bold prediction there. I really I'm going to be interested to see once the contest closes Sunday afternoon before the first match. I'm definitely going to be taking a look and breaking down who everybody picked to win the PBA playoffs. And I'm interested to see how many people make what I say is a bold prediction. It's really not that bold to say that Jasper's going to win, but in terms of seeding, right, which a lot of people might use to make their selections, to see how many people pick everybody in general, but specifically how many people pick Jasper, because like you said, I think he is due for a victory. And it's if it comes down to this, having to do it against the $100,000 man, that would be quite the matchup and quite the way to do it. So right here, the cherry on top, this is the tiebreaker for anybody that ties in terms of how many points they get for the bracket. You're going to get 1 point for each match that you correctly predict the winner. We need to have a tiebreaker here for all the people that end up getting the same amount of points, and that's why we have this championship score here. So what do you think? And to clarify here, because it's a little bit different format, if a bowler wins 3-1, it'll be the final game that they bowl, that the score will count. If people tie 2-2. And it goes to that, that roll off at the end there. It's going to be the second game that they won. The final game that they won will be the game that is used for the roll off. So a little bit different format. Sorry if it's a little confusing here, but we had to make this work for sorting purposes here. So what do you think is going to be the winning score, either the third game or the second game, for whoever comes away victorious for the PBA playoffs?
So I think across the board, because of the fact that you have what is statistically the 16 best bowlers in the world right now coming into the same building to compete on the same oil pattern, on the same set of lanes, scores are going to be, I hope they're high. I would love to see this turn into a highlight of how good these guys really, really are, because as a bowler, I love watching grinders. I love watching the 210 versus 198 winner when it's, how hard it is. But something like this, I'm hoping for a shootout. I'm hoping for something crazy. No different in this. I feel like I actually aimed low with this score, but I think it's 245.
245. I think when I did this, we're having an internal contest here in the office. I think my guess was 246. So I think we're on the same page here. I think it's going to be a shootout. Traditionally speaking, these events are very energetic. I don't know why I just wrote 268. What was yours? 245,
245.
right?
I mean, if it's 268 and you want to give me credit for that one too, I'll take
it. It could be. But I agree with you. I think it's going to be a high scoring atmosphere, regardless if it's at Kegel or when it moves to the Final Four venue. I think it's going to be a much higher scoring match, especially than the Masters. We saw with the Pick 'em contest for the Masters, the overall average of the TV show was lower than 200, especially when you had that really low scoring first match. So I think you're going to see some higher scores here. Bowlers are going to have their striking shoes on. So let's go ahead here. Let's submit the picks here for Ben. Boom. They're all in. You guys can go ahead and check out the leaderboard here for the PBA Playoffs Bracket Challenge. As you guys can see, we'll show you your bracket and who you selected. You can make any adjustments that you like to your bracket as long as the contest is open. Once the contest closes, obviously can't make any changes. And it's going to be fun to follow this throughout the entire playoffs. That takes us into mid-May. Obviously, if you guys go ahead and take a look, we've got a ton of people that are already signed up playing. Make sure you guys go ahead, get your picks, and I can scroll forever right now. The participation in this has been amazing. We really appreciate everybody taking part in some of the fun that we've got going on here. Ben, I want to thank you so much for your analysis here. I want to thank you for taking the time to come hang out. You just had another baby, so congratulations to you, my man.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you to my wife for doing all of the hard work.
Yes, exactly. Happy opening day to you, my friends. Go Cardinals.
Go Cards, baby.
Go Cards for you. For anybody else that has their team playing today, best of luck to your baseball teams. Make sure you guys get your picks in, PBAPick'em.com. You have up until 10 minutes before the show starts on Sunday. So that's 12:50 p.m. Eastern. I believe the show starts at actually, no, it starts at noon. So make sure you guys get your picks in by 11:50 a.m. Eastern on Sunday for a chance to win 5 free bowling balls if you get a perfect bracket. If not, you still have a chance to win other cool bowling prizes from Kara Strike Force, from Bolero. So make sure you guys get your picks in. Ben, thanks again so much, man. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll have more brackets to fill out with you soon, and we will catch you guys again on the next live stream. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Matt.